If the mere thought of selling makes you want to crawl under a rock, or you're just dreading that next sales conversation, trust me, you're in good company. But here's the real talk. That pressure cooker feeling, it's not coming from the client. It's actually coming from you stressing way too much about the yes instead of truly showing up and serving the person in front of you. Flip that script in your head, focus on their needs in the process, and watch your sales confidence absolutely explode. Hey everyone, I'm Drew Norton, the Everyday Sales Leader. I've personally sold tens of millions of products and services, built and scaled large sales teams, and taught hundreds of people how to go from minimum wage to six-figure incomes in sales. My mission is to change the way the world sees sales, because selling is noble, it's leadership, it's freedom, it's abundance, and most importantly, sales is life. Now, if you're like I was, the idea of selling might feel like a huge weight on your shoulders, and you've probably faced that fear of rejection. I get it. I've been there too, and most salespeople have at some point in their journey. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 pillars that can help you conquer your sales fear: preparation, detachment from the outcome, and making sure you're serving their needs, not your own. So let's dive into that. So anxiety thrives in uncertainty. So it's not just about memorizing a script word for word, but having an outline, making sure you know the questions you want to ask and understanding your prospect. So it's really about, do I know where I'm even going in the sales conversation? So you should, if you don't have a script, you should at minimum have an outline. And I like outlines more because then you can focus on it not being just a word for word. You can put your own voice, your own authenticity into it. The problem though is if you're new to sales and you don't have a process you're following, you're going out and you're just trying something different every time. If you have an outline and things are coming up over and over again at the same time, you can start to realize, okay, this is an area that needs to change, or this is where things are breaking down in my conversation. The next thing is just knowing your product inside and out. It's not just the features, it's also understanding the benefits. What are the benefits the client's actually going to receive from it? Now, I never sell directly to those benefits. I sell the client what they tell me they need. And often, if I know my product well and I know the benefits, if I can get them to tell me their need, what it is that they want, what it is their dream is, what they're trying to get away from, then I can show them the benefits, how the benefits of what I offer will actually help them. So you want to know that product inside and out so you can really know what will help people. And it's not about telling them all of those benefits. It's not about telling them all of those features. It's about understanding, okay, I know everything I need to know about this product. So when they start telling me what they need, I can show them, and not right away, we'll cover that more in another video. I can show them how I can take my product or service and help solve their problem. And really, at the end of the day, it's understanding their world. You want to know the customer's business, their challenges, their goals. And this helps you understand, the needs that they have, and can help you get past some objections before they ever even come up. And when they recognize, hey, he knows my problems better than I do. How does that happen? You ask good questions. We can have a whole nother video about that. But when they recognize, hey, you know my problems well, and you know them better than any other salesperson I've ever spoken to, that creates trust. That creates confidence in you as a salesperson. Map out your conversation flow. Know the questions you're going to ask to uncover what they really need. Think about their why. Think about their needs for a solution and why they actually need it now. Like, what's the problem with them staying where they're at? Preparation will reduce your anxiety. All right, so number 2, detach from the outcome. So often your eternal pressure comes from needing a yes. True power comes in sales when you're okay with a no, especially if it's not the right alignment. So this is about freeing yourself from limiting beliefs that you have to make a sale, and recognizing, hey, sales is a process, sales is a numbers game. And if I get in front of the right people, people are going to say yes. And there's no need to, push a square through a round hole, right? You can find too often the pressure that comes for salespeople is they're so worried about the outcome. I'm worried whether or not they're going to give me the appointment. I'm worried whether or not they're going to give me an objection. I'm worried whether or not I'm going to make a commission. The desperate need for a sale, it reeks of scarcity. And look, customers can smell that a mile away. So your job It's not to convince them of anything. It's to guide them. Look, if you're convincing them, it's going to be a way less satisfactory experience. So you want to help them discover on their own the urgent need for a solution. And you do that once again by asking good questions. The better your questions are, they're going to decide. Like, it's not about you deciding they need your product or service. It's helping them do that. And it's being okay knowing that sometimes your product or service isn't for everybody. And if you aren't attached to whether or not they move forward, it just makes it so much more easy to show up free into those conversations. What I found is when you're detached, when you're not worried about the outcome, you're showing up just, hey, from a place that I'm going to just help you get what you want, whether that's with me or someone else. You can ask bolder questions. You can challenge their assumptions, and you really can get to the truth of their situation without worrying about losing the deal or losing their friendship. What I found that really helps me is before every call, I'm going to tell myself, hey, my goal here is to understand them, to serve them, not to close them. If it's in alignment, great. If it's not, that's okay too. Look, I also want to close the sale, right? I'd be lying to say I don't want to close people. And I've also come to realize if I show up and understand that I'm going to find out first if they even need this before I pitch my product or service, then I show up way more free. So pillar number 3 is serve their needs, not your own. And so really this kind of goes from the shift of a taking mentality to like a giving one. And you really can build some trust here and some connection when they see that you're interested in how you can serve and help them, not about just get a deal for yourself. Selling is about helping others discover they need to change, not necessarily about you telling them they need it. So it's way more powerful when they come to that conclusion on their own. And you can do that by asking good questions. We'll have videos that break down how you ask those good questions, but it often comes from them giving them some information, asking them what they understand about it, and maybe challenging them to think through how that could benefit them or how things could change if they did something different. The next part is to shifting to going from taking to giving would be listen more than you talk. Too many salespeople think that they can talk their way into sales instead of truly taking the time to listen and understand what their prospect needs. Now, look, there's a place for talking in sales. Don't get me wrong. And often if you're prospecting or cold calling, you're going to start by talking. You're going to have to take the lead in that conversation. And when we get to a point where we're actually in a presentation, when the client has some interest, that's where we want to ask some questions that make them think, that make them reveal the pain that they're in, that help them tell you what their desired future really looks like. If you record your conversations, it's awesome with AI. You can see how much am I talking versus how much are they talking. And if you're talking way more than they are, you know you've got some work to do. So focus on understanding their problems better than they do. That's also how you can build real trust. When you can show them, especially if you sell a product that solves a specific problem or service, when you can help them see you understand that problem better than they do, once again, that comes through asking them good questions. And a good analogy of that, and a friend shared this with me, it's like when you go to the doctor, you know the doctor's credible. If you say, hey, you know what, doc, the reason I'm here is I'm experiencing some pain in my knee. And the doctor starts asking you questions. Okay, well, tell me about that. How bad does it hurt? Hey, also, do you notice that pain's worse in the morning? Okay, and when you stand up in the morning, do you also know a little bit of pain in the heel of your foot? And he starts describing things that you didn't even realize were maybe attached, but you can quickly see like, oh, he's pointing out things I didn't even realize could be part of this problem. Maybe he starts asking you about your sleep, about your exercise, about these other habits, and says, hey, do you do this? Do you do this? Do you do this? And you're saying, yes, yes, yes. It's like, oh man, he knows this way better than I do, right? And so you can do the same thing when you sell. You do that by asking good questions. Hey, are you experiencing this? Do you also see this? That can really set you apart and make you credible. Look, and at the end of the day, when you show up and you serve, a lot of the objections will melt away because they see the value that you're offering and becomes less about the cost and more about solving their problems. So imagine yourself as their trusted advisor, not just a salesperson. What insights could you truly bring that would help them, whether or not they move forward with you? So see, sales is confidence. It's not some magic trick. It's really a direct result of how you prepare, how you detach, and how you show up and truly serve. But if you're ready to really flip the script on your sales fear and you want personalized guidance on how to implement these mindset shifts and truly transform your approach, I invite you to book a Selling with Confidence breakthrough session with me. It's where we'll map out your own unique path to fearless selling. The link to book your session is in the description below. So if you want to dive deeper into how to ask these powerful questions that unlock sales, make sure to check out my video right here. Asking the wrong questions is killing your sales. It'll show you exactly what to say and how to say it. Final thought, go out there and lead every single day. Sales is life.